We'll have 3 plus 12 minus 5, so that would be 15 minus 5, which is 10. You have to do 16 divided by 2 first, which is 8, and then 5 times 3 is 15. You have to do 4 times 6 first to get 24, and divide by 12 to get 2. You have to do 6 times 5 first to come up with 30, and then divide it by 2, which is 15. And 3 times 3 is 9. This will give you 18 minus 9 is 9. Pick a number from 1 to 5. The winning number is 2. Today's objective is going to be long division, and if we get a chance to get to it, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of positive and negative numbers. I want to divide 9 into 3173 and round to the 10th place. What do I do first? Right, 9 won't go into 3, so we have to see if it'll go into 31. How many times does it go into 31? 3 times. And what is 9 times 3? 27. What's left over? 4. What do I do next? How many times will 9 go into 47?
5 times would be 45. You have 3 left over.
How many left over?
3.
2.
Yeah, 2.
You only have 2 left over, and what do I do now? How many times does 9 go into 23?
2 times.
Not 3 times.
I said 2.
Oh, 2 times.
27. So you have to put...
It won't be 27. 9 times 2 is 18. So what's 23 minus 18?
5.
Yes, 5.
And you have to bring down, like, put it out in 2 zeros.
Anything else I have to put up there?
Put the decimal after the 2.
And now what do I do?
And 9 is 0. Add a 1.
So how many times does 9 go into 50?
5 times is 45.
And then what?
Then 9 is 0.
How many times does 9 go into 50?
1 more time.
Alright, so we've made it out one more place than what we're rounding to. What do I do next?
See if 5, if the number next to 10th place is 5 or greater, and if it is, so it'd be 352.6.
Right, this number is 5 or greater, so this bumps up to 6. So your answer is 352.6. Use your times table if you have to. On the practice problem, 7 will go into 8 once, with 1 left over. drop the 1, and 7 goes into 1, or not 1, but 11, one time. 4 left over, drop the 3, and 7 goes into that 6 times, with 1 left over, drop the 2, and 7 goes into 12 once, with 5 left over. Make sure you have your decimal points and 2 zeros. Drop a 0. 7 goes into that 7 times with 1 left over, and into 10 once. This number is less than 5, so this stays the same. Your answer should be 1161.7. Answers on the bonuses should be 36 and 12. On the practice, 4 will not go into 3, but it will go into 38 9 times. 2 left over, and into 26 6 times, with 2 left over. And we'll drop the 5, it goes in there 6 times, with 1 left over. And into 10 twice, with 2 left over, into 20 5 times. This is 5 or higher, so this becomes a 3. The answers for the bonuses should be 11, 60, and 7. On the practice, 3 will go into 6 twice. Nothing left over. Drop the 3, and 3 goes into it once. Nothing left over. Drop the 9. 3 goes in there 3 times with nothing left over. Drop the 8, and 8 will go in there twice. Or not 8 in there twice, but 3 will go in there twice with 2 left over. And we would have to drop a 0, and 3 would go in there 6 times. And you have 2 left over, and again drop a 0, and it goes in 6 times. So this is higher than 5, so you must round up. The answer is 2132.7. The first one should be 59, and on the second one, this is 18 divided by 2, which is 9. And then this is 32 divided by 16, that's 2. And 18 divided by 2 is 9. That should be 20. On the practice, 2 into 4 twice. Nothing left over. Drop the 8. 2 into 8 4 times. Nothing left over. Drop the 6. 2 in there 3 times. Nothing left over. And drop the 2. 2 into itself once. That's as far as you can go. Answer is 2,431. The bonus will be 2 squared, which is 4, times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14, minus 4 is 10, times 3 is 30, plus 4 is 34, and plus 6 is 40. Two into 6 3 times with nothing left over. Drop the 8. 2 into 8 4 times, nothing left over. Drop the 4. 2 into 4 twice, nothing left over. And drop the 2. 2 into itself once, nothing left over. 3,421. On the practice problem, 3 into 9 3 times, whoops, for 9 with nothing left over. Drop the 3. 3 into itself once, nothing left over. Drop the 6, that goes in twice, nothing left over, and into 9 3 times. It should be 3 1 2 3. These are some flashcards about positive and negative numbers. We'll do addition and subtraction and see where we need to start. It's not 1. Negative 1. You're taking more away than what you have, so you have just 1 left over. Negative 2. It's not 3. It should be 2. And we'll spend some time on a problem like this. So just like that problem we had, 4 plus a negative 2. Anytime it's an addition problem, you can break this up into a group of signs. I have the number 4. The number 4 is the same as 4 plus signs. And a negative 2 is the same as 2 negative signs. So if I wanted to figure out 4 plus a negative 2, I would match up all the positive and negative signs I could from left to right. For every positive sign here, you're going to match it up with a negative sign. Can I match any more signs? So what's left over? How many positive signs do I have left over? 2. I have 2 positives left over, so that's the answer, positive 2. If I had 5 plus a negative 1, I have 5 plus signs and 1 negative sign. If I match up what I have, what's left over? The answer should be 4 because you have 4 positive signs left over. If I had a problem like a negative 3 minus a negative 2, in order to match up signs, it has to be an addition problem. It can't be minus. So what you would have to do is recognize that anytime you have minus a negative, anytime you have a minus sign immediately followed by a negative sign, it changes to plus. So you rewrite the problem as negative 3 plus 2. That is a double negative, and it changes to plus. So this is the new problem. It means the same as this, but now you can do your matching. You have 2 pluses and 3 minuses. I can match up 2 pluses with 2 minuses, and what's left over? 1 what? So the answer is negative 1. If the problem were negative 1 plus a negative 2, it's a plus sign, so I can do my matching. I have a negative and 2 negatives. How many negatives do I have altogether? So the answer is negative 3. If I had 5 minus a negative 4, remember, to do the signs, I have to have an addition problem. What happens when you have a double negative? Change it to plus. So this is the same thing as 5 plus 4, which you probably shouldn't need signs to figure out. What is the answer? Answer is 9. What should I do to this problem so that I can match up my signs? It would be a negative 3 and then plus, but it's not plus 5, it's plus a negative 5. You insert a plus sign in here, so you can make it an addition problem.
Also, it's negative 5.
Yeah, you can make this into negative 5 by putting a plus sign in front of it. And with that plus sign, you can do 3 negatives and 5 negatives. How many negatives do I have altogether? You have 8 negatives altogether, so the answer would be negative 8. What do I do to this problem? Negative 2 plus a negative 3. 2 negatives and 3 negatives. How many negatives are there? Negative 5. From the quick diagnostic quiz we took, we need to look at something like this. 4 minus a negative 3. Anytime you see minus a negative back to back like that, you erase those signs and simply put a plus. So the answer would be 7. If I had 5 minus a negative 7, what do I change those two signs to? 5 plus 7, and the answer is 12. What if I had negative 2 minus a negative 6? What do I do to those two signs in the middle?
Negative 2 plus 6.
Yeah, negative 2 plus 6. These become plus. And then from there you can do 6 positive signs and then 2 negative. If I match up these 2 negatives with 2 positives, what's my answer? 4. Here's something we can practice. I'm going to put green and red on the screen, plus and minus, and you figure out what the answer should be if that were an addition problem. I can match 4 positive signs with 4 negative signs, and what's left over is 1 negative, so the answer is -1. I can match up 3 positive signs with 3 negatives, and what's left over is 3 positives. So the answer is +3. I can match up 2 positives and 2 negatives and be left with a +2. If I have minus a positive, that's the same thing as plus a negative. From there you can do 3 negatives, 4 negatives. How many negatives do I have altogether? 7 negatives. So the answer is -7. -1 minus 5. How can I rewrite that problem? -1 plus -5. 1 negative and 5 negatives. How many negatives do I have?
6.
So the answer is -6. I have 6 negatives. The answers for the short quiz here are -3, -1, 4, 1, and -2. If I have -1 minus a -5, I can change that to -1 plus 5 because that's a double negative. So you have 5 positives and 1 negative. And when you go to match them up, you have 4 positives left over.